G'day guys. I don't know if I'm in the right group. I don't know if I should be doing this. Multiple lives, multiple failures, multiple wrong places. Going live is not easy. Annoying everybody by having them look at multiple places. Oh, hello. I must have got it right this time, unless that's my sister. And that was a real shock. My sister's not in the group, and suddenly my sister popped up. Is it going to work, Carl? I don't know. It looks like it is, because if I'm talking to you, it must be working. Yay! I can do my live. Okay. Running back over what I said before, this is what I did. Yeah. The ball's not quite round. It tends to be a bit of a potato. It's got a couple of wide spots. I'm going to stain the outside of it. I'm going to wrap the ball in Glad wrap, cling film, so that I don't get any stain on it. That's all going to be stained mahogany, and then I will varnish the whole thing, polyurethane covering. I'm doing fine. I'm in the right group. Tammy, thank you. You're an angel. This time. That was funny. That was funny. Talk about humility training and egg on your face. I'm in the right place. Yay! Mr. Del Monte, he said yay! I feel like a complete idiot. This is what a complete idiot looks like. Going live on my personal feed to the group. What a difference. Oh well. Moving on. Ball in the cage challenge. I opened the ends. I wasn't going to. I love the grain on the ball. To work pine, that has been very, very interesting to work pine. It chips a lot. It's not a very good wood to carve something as intricate, and I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing high points on the rails and low points, and a ball that is a little resistant. What I found actually doing this is very, very, very difficult to assess whether or not the ball was round before I started. I had a little piece of wood that I cut out that was the right diameter, same circumference as the wood. I don't have it out here, unfortunately. No, I don't. So I thought the ball was round. What I did do was I cleaned up the whole thing. I made it all nice and clean. I did the inside before I released the ball. I did most of what needed to be done on the outside. I took the ends out. I used a drill press and I drilled out and cut them out with a drill, because I didn't want to break these little bits. I can see how delicate and how clear cut the grain is. Now, if I'd have hit that the wrong way, then I would break that. But I've only got about 3/8 of an inch square. There's a book called Coloured Woods of the World, you can read for free, has hardness info too. Good book. Well, knowing what the anchor test is, and understanding that, okay, propelling a ball into a wood, good thing. This is done. I'm going to stain it, varnish it, and I'll eventually swap my end picture that I've put into the folder, into the photo album of my completed one. Look, doing this, I touched base with a few other people that have done these, and what we all have is the same experiential knowledge, and that means that we can talk the language. Brilliant, brilliant way of doing things. I love that we do challenges together. It puts us on the same page, and that I really like. Now, okay, that's that out of the way. This week I'm building the chain challenge. So there's two hard challenges. They're not too hard. They are two numeral challenges that have been probably a little bit more difficult than we've done with the other ones. Although I don't know, a face is pretty hard. Not once you master it, it's not. But before you master it, it is. So the chain and the ball in the cage challenge are both hard challenges. Probably a little too hard. So if you decide or discover or don't believe in your capacity to be able to do it, then take on one of the easier challenges, whether it be the heart, the ball if you're really new. The ball is the best one to start with because it teaches you cuts and direction of flow of the material. The ball is a really, really good first challenge. Then it's a matter of personal likes or dislikes, I suppose. All the challenges are there in the photo albums, or you can find them under challenges in the files. That will lead you to things to do. They are challenges. It's not a challenge against me or challenge against somebody else. They're challenges for you to complete. The wood, you and the wood are the only two things there. We're lucky we've got support in the group, but every one of us is alone when we're doing it. So it's a good thing. Okay, this week I went into a timber yard and I discovered a whole treasure of different woods, which I was really happy. I only bought eight pieces because I didn't have time to actually make good, wise choices. I've discovered I've learned a lot about wood. The woods I was looking at, I had information, and I got the information from you members of the group, so thank you for that. I am learning, and boy am I learning. You ask the right questions and I want to know the answers as well, so I spend a fair bit of time looking up. I spend a fair bit of time assessing and learning. Now excuse me, that's because my live failed. Probably going to do my chain out of my piece of English lime, so basswood but an English version of it. That was under $6. Most of the pieces of wood that I picked up, except for the red cedar, was around about the $6 or $7 mark. That one's swamp cypress. If you've had any experience with swamp cypress, please, happy to hear what you have to say about the woods that I'm showing you. So English lime, swamp cypress, African paddock. That's going to be a hard carve, but the colours are beautiful. I was just discussing with Tammy that she would love this for one of her tatties. This is a happy piece. It's only a small piece. This was under $4. I'm absolutely. I spent $150, which was quite considerable for me. But this is food for future. I'll be able to write up BWC's database of different woods, what's carvable, what's not, from experience. Experience speaks louder than you can read all the theory in the world. I can read what I need to know and what I can share answers, but experientially I don't know. So I have to say, according to somebody else, this is the truth. Well, I will be able to work with these and I'll be able to say the piece of English lime I carved was beautiful. I couldn't have had a nicer piece. Rock maple, heavy. Again, not particularly expensive, so if there's any Australians that need wood, get in touch. PM me and I'll let you know who the place is, or I can be the intermediary of that. If you need wood, I now can get it. They had camphor laurel, which I wanted to get, but I didn't have time, and I'd already spent. The salesman was a very good salesman. When I went in there, I asked him if he had basswood, and he said yes, he does. And then he said, "Have you heard of Jelutong?" And I went, "Yes, I have." And he said, "Well, it's the Southern Hemisphere's version of basswood." So I took him at his word, and because it was 15% cheaper than the basswood, I got myself some Jelutong. Now, he was a good salesman because first of all he said, "Here we go. Here's a piece of Jelutong. So it's 3 inches wide by 3 inches thick, 12 inches wide, and I got 4-foot piece." That was $100. $100 for a piece of wood. Do you know, 6 months ago I would have laughed if somebody said I was going to spend $100 on a piece of wood. It was actually $111, and I said to him, The guys down at the tool shop said to me I'd get a discount if I came in here. I mentioned I'm a member of a group of nearly 11,000 people, and that I'm going to be going in there quite a lot from time to time because, and I might be able to expand some business, and I might be able to locate for Australians in the group because I haven't been able to access this before. So it really was an answer to a prayer. So that was really good. So I've got that big piece, and that big piece I can cut down. My first cut will be about 6 inches off of it. So 6 inches by 12 inches by 3 inches. I will square that off, so that I end up with a lot of maybe 1.5 inch square pieces, so that I can do some patterns. I'll talk about patterns in a minute. So there's Jelutong. I'll let you know how good that car's. I have heard good reports from it. I'll let you know. This is a piece of pepperwood. If you look at the grain, it's very open, very big poured. So this will be like oak to a certain degree. It's got quite a fine set of rings. I would say medium density. If you've carved pepperwood before, please, any of these woods, if you have actually carved them, then please drop me a line or put it on a status that you've used that wood and here's your experience of it, because I would like it. Queensland red cedar. Now they did have western cedar in there, and I've heard good reports from that too. We used to have a guy in the group, a Canadian dude, who always worked on cedar. So he preferred it to, he said walnut was a bit hard, and he said cedar was perfect. Basswood he found a little bit lacking in interesting contours. Valid statement. Really easy to carve, relatively soft hardwood. Basswood is the wood of choice for the northern hemispheres. Basswood is the wood of choice. So yes, but I've got some Australian red cedar, and I'm looking forward to carving that. But again, what my biggest problem now is okay, I've got access to woods. That's really good, but I am slowed because I am doing the challenges. But, oh, don't drop my cage, Colin. Let's move that so I don't knock it off. Yes, my biggest problem is now I've got to decide what do I prioritise. I dropped a piece. I'm just going to get it. Oh, you can look at it. Oh no, the washing's gone this week. Ow, that hurt. So now it's the biggest problem is if I do the challenges. No, when I do the challenges, there's part of me that says I have to do them more than once, because if I try to use a different wood, not sure where I am, but there you are. I'm in the group this time, I can tell by the numbers. Yeah, I should really do the same carving on multiple pieces of wood so that I get a proper reference, because if I do a different challenge, a lot of these challenges that we've got teach us tool control, they teach us wood density, they teach us a lot about what we're actually carving on. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm open for suggestions, so if any of you could advise me on that one, I will take it under consideration, and I would appreciate it, so thanks. So yes, the chain challenge is this week's challenge. That will be drawn up today and will be there while you sleep, while the American or the Northern Hemisphere sleep. We've got a few different timelines to take into consideration. I'm doing this on a Friday night, when to me it's a Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon will be a busy afternoon, because I've noticed Saturday nights is one of our busiest nights. People at home, weekend, choosing what to do, come into BWC because it's the right place to go. We are the social scene. I don't know how many of you have found this, but I don't use Facebook other than to make mistakes. I don't go on Facebook very often as Facebook. I only come into the group. That's what I do. The group is central to everything. I've invested my life into this really over the last few months. All my family ever hear about is BWC. I spent a lot of time in here, a lot of thought. I'm trying to build a place where there's information, there's inspiration, and we give motivation. Saturday nights are the hardest nights too, because it's also a night where people have a few drinks, they get a little bit, I don't know, verbal, and if we have problems, it's on a Saturday night. So please, for tomorrow night, for Saturday night, can we have a polite, reasonable weekend? I don't want to kick anybody out. If you voice your opinion, that's fine. Keep fiddling and gargling. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, Saturday nights get a little bit feisty. I don't. People are allowed their opinions, of course. I shake my head no. But people are allowed their opinions. But if it gets heated, if it gets nasty, or remember your manners and your politeness, because most of you are well-mannered and polite. We do have some people in the group that never post anything other than they get a bit feisty and it's a good place to stir people up. Well, those people won't stay in a group for very long. I have to do the marshal thing, and it seems to be a Saturday night I have to do marshalling more than anything else. I try to give you the challenges so that there's something that we can do rather than argue with people that don't. A lot of us do these challenges. I think the challenges have become very important to me because they're the closest thing to a teaching tool that we have. And it's not me that teaches. I just guide to whichever challenge is coming up, and I throw a challenge, and we do it together, or it becomes a file that other people can do at a later date. And we have had, like Brett Byers, for example, has just smashed all of the challenges within, like, since the 1st of January. In 6 weeks he's just gone through and excelled. Well done, Brett. Can't fault you on that, and the fact that you think the ball started you off, thank you for the credit for that, but you did the work. You've just rushed straight through and done them. Well, that's really good to see. That's what the challenges are there for. Now, if you can't find the challenges, look in the files, look for the title challenges, and it will lead you to all of the challenge bar the chain challenge, because I haven't updated it yet. I'll be doing that while you sleep. The challenges are good for us. They bring the virtual world into the real world. It gives us something to, a lot of people come in and say, what should I do? Well, the ball is the first thing you should do if you've never carved anything. If you want knives, well, access to all the knife companies and what they have to say about their knives, again, you'll find in the files. There's a file called directory under construction, because it is under construction. That leads you to, that's going to be the navigating system of BWC. The files and the folders, I will link to where each one is, so it will be very easy to navigate. I discovered a few weeks ago that with the different platforms we have different ways of accessing the information, so I thought long and hard, how do I overcome the problems of different platforms, so that when I say, oh, it's here, and people say to me, no, it's not here in my folder, I can't find that. Well, by having a directory that leads you to where you need to go is a lot easier to navigate. So when I say go there, it's easier to go to a file that leads you there. So I'm going to be putting the directory file up a lot to the answer to questions, and all you have to do is click on the link and it will take you directly to, if it's if it's one of the challenges, it will lead you to the photo album that has the challenge in it. Thought I would show you one of my silly little mushrooms. Unfortunately, when you carve things green, where is it? There, things split. That's a couple of pieces of gum, just being silly. Just thought I would show you. Yeah, we're led in the directory to the places of interest within BWC. I've done a lot of videos that are in Brave Art Studios. I think this is actually being put forward as Brave Art Studios rather than my own rather than Cold Brave art. That's, I'm not sure why there's a button I haven't clicked or a button I have clicked or something that makes that one difficult. Thank you. Maybe we can make a wood carved sign of your own design slogan sign. Well, yeah, that's possible. Pete, mate, something turned up in the post this week. Something that cost you in postage way beyond what you should have paid. Thank you. I really appreciate the gift. Yes, I think it will help the group. I just have to not copyright infringe. I just need to rewrite some things. But your gift to me was heart moving. Thank you so much, Pete. I don't know what to say. It's like people spend money, and I feel a little guilty that it cost you to send me. So thank you. Anyway, yes. Pete gave me a book on caricature carvings, and there's a whole lot of patterns in there, which copyright infringement says I'm not allowed to put it in the group for your usage. I'm not. Copyright is a problem. If I infringe copyright and somebody complains, thank you, mate. It will help me. It'll help me, and then of course, because it helps me, it will help the group. Copyright infringement is a really big problem. If somebody complains about copyright infringement, Facebook can close both the group and my account down. I don't want that to happen. So I've got to get more drawings that are safe, that have come from me, or people that willingly allow. Can you PM? Is that allowed? Yes, you can PM. People do. I talk to not everybody at once. But yes, if you have any question, if it's a question that would be better suited on the wall of beginners wood carvers, then yes, redrawn and styled, yes, that's what I intend to do. If somebody's got a question like is basswood good to carve, and they PM me that, that's kind of wasting your time and my time. OPM designs that are copyrighted. Ooh, that's a good question. It's copyright infringement, because I may have a copy in front of me, but the book says copyright belongs to the person that wrote the book, and it really only allows the person that owns the book to use it. But then, of course, there's a whole lot of possibles. Wow. Pete, your drawings are out of this world. I appreciate your artistic involvement. We've got a few. Pete's done a couple of the challenges. The Tin Man challenge, if you haven't looked at it, have a look. I wonder if that one's in the folder. Don't remember. So, okay, yes, Tin Man, and he designed a duck cane, or duck topper, which is there in the photo albums under the challenges. So thanks again, Pete. Pete, you're a good mate. Been a good mate from the time we became friends. So thank you. The copyright infringement is difficult, because if I PM somebody it, I'm still breaching the concept of intellectual property. I had a discussion with somebody else in private messages this morning about copyright, and they are a person that creates something, and they said to me, well, if somebody took my design and started using it, I would be really upset, wouldn't you? And I think about it, and it's like, within the group, no, I give away everything. I don't, everything that I've got, every time I put something up that I design or I've carved, I'm putting it out there where if you want to copy it, I don't care. You know, like, you can't take my skills. You might be able to copy my work. You may even be able to do it better than I do. But I don't care. I give it freely. Use it. If you can use it, because I don't give a shit about copyright. Copyright is mine to give. Yeah. I'm a person, well, just in the group, I mean, beginners woodcarvers. We're teaching in here what people pay for from certain queens of carving that put out books, which I saw the other day, and I looked at it and went, you know what, it won't be long before we in a group can be able to make the sorts of books I looked at. I saw that we're getting there, you know, it's like we're teaching for free, and that's what I want. I give it away. I don't have to make money out of this. Well, sod that. Free. I like the price. So I give my stuff away willingly, and I don't worry about copyright. But it is difficult. One has to be concerned, and copyright laws are rewritten daily. So that's a hard one. That is a hard one. But as Jerry said, I can redraw and redesign, and I'm actually thinking that we will have a challenge, and the challenge will be projection drawing, so that you're able to make patterns, and that will be a challenge. There'll be instructions. I may even get Blaze, my daughter, to help on this one, because she has a capture app on her phone, and she does a lot of drawing on her phone. So I may get Blaze to run a drawing challenge, because if we can learn how to draw patterns, then the copyright thing doesn't matter at all, because we'll be able to design our own things. It's only a matter of projecting from a front view to a side view, and maybe a little bit of help from Pete, maybe a little help from my daughter, maybe a little help from me, but we're going to do a drawing challenge. Some of the other challenges that are coming up won't just be wood based. We'll be doing things like photographing, lighting. Yes, Jordan, that's exactly right. We're going to have things like lighting and photography tips, challenges that will enable you to set up the right lighting so that you photograph your work in its best light. Some people do it naturally, some people have the training. We will be doing challenges that show that as well. There'll be mini challenges rather than the major ones. But I think it's a good idea if we learn how to draw. I don't generally tend to draw what I do. Bit different when you're doing a chain or you're doing a ball in a cage, you have to draw it out. But I do a lot of freestyling carving, if you like, where I don't follow a pattern, I don't have an initial drawing, I just have a concept in my head and I follow it from there. But not everybody can do that. Some people have to have the drawing in front of them. Well, everybody can learn how to do those drawings if they so wish. We're gonna help people to learn how to do that, share how to do that. And yes, if we have a folder that is of drawings and designs, if you have your picture in there, it is for use of BWC. That is a written, like, if you want to say, no, you can't use it, don't put it in our folder, don't put it on our feed. If you want to keep the full rights to it, then that's fine. If it's in the folder, then it's for the use of people in the group. I will write that up when the file comes together, or when the album comes together. I forgot I was going to do a live, thanks to Tammy. She said, are you doing a live? I looked at the time and went, oh yes, I'm doing that now. Free is what I can afford. I would be up creek without a paddle if not for this group. Thanks for all your work. Wayne, look, there's 11,000 of us, and there are about, I don't know, 200 that are using the group. There are 10,000 people that are just watching us. That's a bit of shame, but then out of that 10,000 is how we've got the 150 or 200 core members, and I love the core members. If you work, if you do carvings, if you comment, if you share your knowledge and experience, then I love you in the group. If you're just here watching, some people have a justifiable reason, which I've discovered over a period of time. Some people don't have the capacity but love the entertainment and love watching new creations coming into being and watching beginners become skilled, because some of you go through it. If you do all of the challenges, at the end of those challenges, if you did all the challenges that we have now, then you are no longer a beginner carver. You are now an intermediate carver, where experience is the only teacher there is. We all do this alone. We're all isolated when we're actually carving. We've got the support of the group. There will be live potentials that, if you connect with me and you say, I'm having some problems with this, and you've got the capacity on here to do what I'm doing now, then we can do that. We can do that through private messaging, and I can give individual lessons if that's necessary. I can give advice personally without it being a group. It's much better if it goes into the group, because then it benefits many rather than one. It's part of the reasons why I'm building the files. Instead of helping one person 1,000 times, I can help 1,000 people once. I only have to speak it once, and that means I'm free to do other stuff. So sorry Joe, your ball in the cage broke. That would have been a bugger. I nearly didn't open the ends of mine for that reason, but I did in the end. Just going to talk briefly about scale of things. I was lucky this week. I also, not only did I visit the wood shop and buy the timber yard and buy a whole bunch of timber, I got three I say, files. I got 3 file gouges. I got 2 V-tools and I got a gouge. All files, so I spent a chunk of change on those too. And I got the slip strop so that I can keep them sharp. I didn't like the price of the slip strop. I thought it was very expensive for what it is, but it was much easier to buy it than it was to make it. I can keep those tools in check. I haven't used them yet. I wanted to, but I've got all this wood, and I was working on the ball in cage, and I disciplined myself and said, no, you don't do anything, you don't stop doing it until it's done, then you can put it to one side because you finished it, almost. I've got new V-tools and the new gouge to try out, and they are malletable, so I got the next scale up, that's to do with scale. To do the really small ones, you don't need the micro tools. You can do it with knives. Anything that you can do pretty much with the micro stuff you can do with the right knives. Gouging not so much. But if we're talking about this scale, then a knife will work. If we're talking about, most of you have done small ones of these. I did a big one because I'm an idiot and I like big stuff. Normally, the scale of choice for knives is the size of the ball, rather than the size of my cage. Well, I understand why. Less work, less wood to remove, and you achieve the goal of the challenge. You learn what you need to learn from it, but you also learn a scale. Carving the little people, there's not a file that says carving the big people unless you go to chainsaws. Blade size is relative in this. Have you done any chip carving? I've been struggling with that for weeks. No, I've not done any chip carving. I know how it's done. I haven't got there yet. I haven't got a chip carving knife. Specialisation of the tools. I pay through the nose for the flex cut. I noticed that a single knife is $40 here, whereas it's $20 to the Americans. Now, even with the 3/4, 75 cents in the dollar, we pay a quarter more for an American product because of the dollar exchange value. It wasn't that long ago that we were on parity, $1 for $1, but that slipped back down. The Australian dollar declined. The American dollar went up, one or the other, or a bit of both. I wish I'd have bought the tools when it was $1 for $1, because I would have been paying a lot less. I can buy online and have shipped here, but then of course I might get it for $25, but it cost me $15 to have it shipped. So I don't win on that one. It was nice to go into the tool shop and go, okay, I'm here to buy a couple of tools, and I bought 3 files and a slip strop. That was $180. $50 a chisel. $50 a chisel? It's way too much. But it's not. I've got lifetime tools that will last. I had a problem with flex cut. I had my U-gouge. I don't remember using it, although I may have done. Was damaged. It was chipped, and when I did, I vaguely remember when I did attempt to use it, it was chipped, so it didn't work. Well, I got in touch with Flex Cut, and they were sending me a replacement, and all I had to do was show them a photograph of my damaged tool. So, thank you, Flex Cut. Flex Cut are available worldwide, and I promote Flex Cut over other knives and other tools because of the availability. For if somebody says, "Can I get?" I look where they're from. If it says, I look from where they're from, and then I'll find the local nearest hardware store to them that stocks them, and then that way they can ship them out. Yes, it is expensive to buy the tools. My friend bought, my daughter's boyfriend bought a 4 set of knives. He got the mini Pelican, the big Pelican, the detailing knife, and the cutting knife in a tool roll, and that was $150. Well, I look on the prices that Flex Cut, and I know Amazon do them $10 or $15 cheaper. I looked at the prices, and $150 when he should have only been paying $100 max, 110, something like that. It's a bit expensive when you're not in America, and I can only put it down to shipping fees. It's like America doesn't actually want to trade with the rest of the world. That seems to be what the prices of postage. I look at China, and China doesn't charge postage at all. Now the quality isn't there in a lot of items. Sometimes it depends on what you buy, but I guess my government has made a deal with China, and eBay is part of that. Amazon doesn't ship to here in most instances. With the gear that I want, it just doesn't ship, so I can't get those cheap prices, and I can't ask an American to get it sent to there because the postage still applies. So if you want it, you pay what your local fee is, and bite the bullet and go, okay, well, these tools will be with me and I'll get lots of enjoyment out of them. When I bought the $100 piece of wood, that's exactly what I thought. What I said about him being a good salesman was he didn't show me the little pieces until I'd already paid for the big piece. Yes, I want to do some relief carving as well. That will also be a challenge somewhere down the line. I didn't want to buy quite such a big piece. I said, is there any chance that could be cut in half? And he said, no, it's the piece that it is, and if you want it, that's the price. And it was $111, and he rounded it up to 100 for me, so I rounded it down to 100, so I got a discount. I was happy with that. But then when I saw the rest of the woods, I'd regretted that I'd already bought the big piece, because I would have bought smaller pieces and more of them, but then of course I would have had more different timbers. Difficult. BWC. It's a bloody good place to be. I love it. I love the interaction with all of you guys. I feel like you're personal friends. I feel like the group is growing in the right direction. We are the best group on Facebook. That was the compliment I got paid this week. It's the most positive place on Facebook, and that is because of you. Not because of me. I'm just a person, one person, in nearly 11,000. That's just, to think that 6 months ago there was 1,000 people in the group. Obviously doing videos makes a lot of difference to what people want. I'm in many other groups, and all they do is post pictures, ask questions. In here, it's a lot more interactive. It's like we're building friendships. If we were sitting in the room, which I wish we were, sitting in a big hall together, all doing what we do, wouldn't that be wicked? Being able to have all the chats properly and not just typing with emotionless and can be misconstrued, and it would be so nice to actually be in a group, in a big hall with everybody. That would be lovely. I get a bit stage fright. It's a bit different when I'm sitting here out in my backyard talking to the potential of 11,000 people, and 11 are watching. That tells you the numbers, doesn't it? 0.001% are watching. Oh no, it's gone to 0.009. Oh, do you know how hard it is just to waffle and waffle and waffle about our stuff? Most, I mean, don't hardly post any pictures in. No, that's right. Zooming out, yeah. This is the very best Facebook group I've ever belonged to. You've done a great job. Well, I have to say good night. Take care. Good night, Joe. People talk together on video. Yes. There are a multitude. This is all Facebook gives us for the time being, and there was a time when nobody would video. It was pushing people to introduce themselves, and we got a very, very small percentage of the people that did that. Pete is one of them that did. We've had recently Mike Loyal. Thank you for doing that one. Facebook is withholding some of the posts from me. I go to scroll to see what's happened while I've been sleeping. My sewing groom does that. Zoom. Wicked. I will look into Zoom. That's a good thing. Yes, Mike Loyal introduced himself, and I discovered that Facebook hides things from me. I didn't know he had. So thank you, Mike Loyal. Brett Byers did a hello video. If you feel inclined to just say, "G'day, I'm such and such. Just thought I'd pop in and let you know who I am," that would be nice. I look forward to them. I sort of take it personally that people are saying hello to me, but then that's what we do with Facebook. Everybody, if I write, "You do this," everybody that reads it like I mean them. Somebody's annoying me. Oh, I hope it's not me. The only thing that I found this week to be a little bit irritating, just a small irritation, negative speech, was what the problem was. We had a couple of people that were saying, "That's not carving, this isn't carving, this isn't carving," because, well, traditionalists, that was a big post. I did have a little bit of a rant saying, in my group it runs this way, and we use what we want, how we want. The end goal is the reward. For beginners, if you cheat by using a power tool, I don't consider it cheating. I think it's attaining the ends that you want. We all have the capacity as we grow to decide what tools we want to use. End of subject. So not traditional. We use what we like. That's fine with me. Well, what next? What now? Well, we've got the chain challenge coming up. File for that. You'll see me posting as I go, because I do. And I guess, well, this is probably it for Friday night. I will write down next Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Colin. Don't forget to do your live. Catch up for the week. Seen all your work this week. Brilliant. Everybody that's posted something, thank you so much. You new beginners, if you've lasted this long on this video, well done. Thank you for coming to Beginners Woodcarvers. Thank you for becoming part of our community. Good bunch of friends, good bunch of people. Any questions, fine, we'll answer them if we can. Sometimes it takes me a little while to get to things. As I said, Facebook hides some things from me and I don't see them till later. You mean again? But this time, can you tell me when I'm in the wrong bloody place? I can't believe I went live on my feed. I don't post anything on Facebook, and then suddenly there's me talking to the group with 3 people, and I'm seeing 3 people watching me and thinking, that's unusual. Normally the numbers sort of fluctuate, go up and down. And then my sister came on. What? When did my sister get into the group? She doesn't carve. Anyway, guys, safe and happy carvings. And I'll see you and your stuff on the feed. Any questions? Pop them on. If you know anything about the woods I'm about to carve, happily hear what you've got to say. Hey David, and good night everybody that's in the States, because your hours are starting to increment up to bedtime. Tomorrow morning, take on one of the challenges. If you don't want to do the chain, or you've already done the chain, find one you like. Add your picture to the photo album so I don't get into trouble for doing it for you. In future, if I can, I will ask. Good night, everybody. Hang on, let's make sure I don't show me baldness. It's not that I'm bothered my baldness. This is welded to my head most of the time. You should see me when I have a bath. Showers are fun because I have to tip my head like that and I get it in my ear. Adios, amigos.